What's up, y'all? So I just seen this video with Asmondgold, just talking about like the issue with video games, like the issue with modern video games, I guess, the root of all problems. So, I'm a gamer myself, so like I want to hear his opinion as one of my other favorite like tubers. He's Asmondgold, very entertaining, amazing Warcraft player, very knowledgeable when it comes to like MMO genres and like RPGs. So I really want to check him out and hear his opinion on this. So let's get right into it.
Hi guys, it's me again, and it's about 7
What
in the
up?
morning, and I figured that I'd record a video before I go to bed. And
Good
today,
night.
the topic we're going to be talking about is mining canary problems in video games. Now, before I explain what the topic is and how it relates to games, I of course have to explain the metaphor. What is a mining canary? Well,
A
back in
mining
the good
canary. I
days,
don't know.
back in the old days, whenever people used to have to work in mines, coal mines, etc., they would go down to mine and they would bring with them a canary or some form of bird. And this bird, they would have it in a little cage, and whenever the bird died or the bird started acting weird or crazy, they would know that because the bird's lungs are smaller, the poisonous gases below them would affect the bird negatively before they were able to be affected as humans because they obviously, people have larger lungs than a bird does. So the bird dies, oh shit, I don't want to go down there, there's poisonous gases. So, how does this relate to video games? Well, this is obviously a premonition. This is obviously an ominous sign. So, I think that mining canary problems in video games are whenever a specific change or a specific thing in a video game is basically a. If you could distill all of the problems down to any one thing, it would probably be this one thing. And I think that the best way for me to do this is to use a couple of examples. Now, one example now, thankfully, is outdated, but the second example, unfortunately, is not. First example I'm going to use is the Diablo 4 change from making
I haven't played
the lead
Diablo.
instance timer 5 seconds instead of 3 seconds. They increased
Hmm.
the timer because of some stupid reasoning, and I viewed this as a mining canary problem. This is a problem that indicates a key core massive disconnect between the developers and the players. And every once in a while, you'll see a developer make a change that is so out there, so outrageous, so ridiculous that it just kind of encapsulates the entire animosity that they might have with the community or the entire disconnect that they have with the community. And I'd actually be curious, guys, after I put this second example, if you have any examples like this in your own games, maybe examples that I haven't thought of. The second example is going to be in Dragonflight World of Warcraft. And back in the beta, or sorry, not the beta, the pre-expansion patch for the Drakthir, which are going to be the new race, they had a racial ability where they could fly around and effectively use dragon riding anywhere in the Eastern Kingdoms or anywhere in Kalimdor. And Blizzard thought, in all of their brilliance, they thought that they were going to nerf this and change it. That way, everybody didn't start rolling Drakthir to farm old world dungeons. I'm not kidding. That's actually what their logic was. And it is still nerfed to this day. It was an ability called Soar. And also, now with the new patch, it's been announced that, of course, they're actually going to be allowing everybody to use the dragon riding mounts in the old world. So not only is this change stupid fundamentally, but it's also been completely outdated. So it's one of the things where, and again, like as soon as the developer explains what their perspective is and why they think this is a problem, everybody that is watching and that actually plays the video game realizes that they don't. So this is a big problem, and I think that also it's one.
The only thing I could think of in this when I play Street Fighter, sorry to pause the video, but when I was playing Street Fighter 4, I used to use the character DJ. So like, the thing was DJ, pretty much like he was like a really like not the best character in the game, but he had one thing that he had that no other character had, and that was his light sobot kick was able to hop over trips and like low moves that are like sweeps and stuff like that. So they nerfed it where it's like it doesn't hop over attacks anymore. So because they did that, I actually stopped playing the game because like I needed that move to hop over trips and low sweeps and stuff like that. It was very valuable. If you're able to read it, you can hop over it. But they removed that, which was really dumb to me. So because they removed it, it was just dumb. So later, I guess they did it because he was the only character who had something like that, and like it was very viable, like it was very strong, and also too a shattered guard break as well, and it had very good range as well. So like they did that, and then they remove it, make DJ bottom tier like dirt bottom tier. Next after they added again like a year or 2 years later, which was stupid. And it's like, what was your reason for removing it? He was already bottom tier. Like, there was nothing to be done to him. Like, there was nothing wrong. And you did that, and you re added it. And it's like, you re added it because you realized you guys fucked up, but it was too late. It was weird.
One of the things where like there are
Like,
some
listen to
parts
the
that were
community.
yeah,
Like,
it would
listen to,
seemingly be
like,
like a
what?
very small change, like oh this is like not really a big deal, like why does this even
Exactly.
matter? And it doesn't really matter, but
That's
I
what you
think
would
in these
think.
mining canary type problems, it indicates a larger disconnect. So for example, if you're charting a course across the ocean, okay, and you're
I
one
feel
degree
this.
off, by the time you get to the other side of the ocean, you're going to be miles away from where you started, even if you were 1 degree on the other side. And I think this is kind of what happens is that the development of games becomes so disconnected from the player base of games that changes are made and put into a game that I think doesn't really serve anybody and goes to just show the player base that the developers don't really
I feel that.
understand what the core gameplay loop of the game really is. And I think a lot of these types of things happen, especially in live service games. And we're talking about, like, obviously, I use Diablo 4 and World of Warcraft as an example, but Destiny, PUBG, Fortnite, Valorant, League of Legends, any of these games are all live service games. I think that they become more evident. And the problem really with these live service games and
Mm-hmm.
why they have more of these mining canary problems and why it's more common for them to happen is because I do think in live service games there is a different standard of success whenever you're talking about these types of games. Because these games are not necessarily measured in terms of did the player complete the game, they're measured in how many hours did the player complete how many hours did it take for the player to complete the game, and also how many times did they spend money on the game, how long did they put into the game, how many hours. Blizzard calls it monthly active user player retention. Everything is all about keeping you on that hamster wheel as long as possible. And that's why I think that you see a lot of these changes be put into these games that will artificially increase the amount of time that a game takes in order for it to be finished or for you to achieve a task. And I think that you can contrast this with something like Elden Ring, for example. Elden Ring, there are rare items in Elden Ring. However, a rare item in Elden Ring is not equivalent to a rare item in many, many other games. And not to mention the fact that you can just mod the game and give yourself any item you want, not to mention items that don't even exist, like with mods, like convergence, etc. The point is that it is not important for the developers of that game, or Tears of the Kingdom for that matter, it is not important for them to make you waste your time because they've already got your fucking money, number one. So if you play through the game and you beat the game, this doesn't mean that you are no longer interfacing with their battle pass system. You're no longer interfacing with their store system. And this creates a profit incentive for the developers to make things take
That's true. I
longer
feel
than
that.
usual. And
Yeah, a lot of
also,
things are
creates a
always for the
profit incentive
profit.
for developers to make things
Makes
be more
sense.
frustrating and just in general more difficult to achieve. And I guess
That's why
these are
there's
all
so
kind of
much like.
technically ways of saying take longer
Yeah,
to
this is
complete.
the smaller picture.
So
Actually, worse than
I
this when you
think that
think about it.
really you see a lot of these mining canary problems with live service
I
games,
don't
and
know.
I think that's
I hope
really
you
the
guys can
reason
see me
is that
rambling down right
there is
now.
a success metric that is attached to a lot of live service games, especially that are done by larger companies, that is primarily focused around playtime, and it is primarily focused around a metric that is a quantitative value, which is a lot of times kind of a problem because I think quantitative analysis of games is of course very important, and it should be a foundation for making decisions, but without having the creative intuition to understand the qualitative value of each different thing that's added into the game, then you're not able to really put all the pieces together and understand
Mm-hmm.
the full vision of, wow, players really like this system. Well, yeah, no shit, they like the system. It's because you make them do it. And I think that Renown is probably going to turn into one of those things in season 2 of Diablo 4. I played through a little bit of season one. I've tried to give the game a little bit more of a second, or I don't know what, a 50th chance, something like that. It's like a toxic ex-girlfriend at this point. And anyway, try to, because I felt like the campfire went okay, and so it's like, all right, well, we'll see what happens. But anyway, one thing that I've noticed is that nobody really likes farming renown, and I don't think that I'll really be playing season two if I have to farm renown again. And I think that also a lot of players are very willing to compromise with the developer, and I think this is a bad thing. And the reason why I think that it's a bad thing is that why can't we just have fun all the time? And before you go and say, okay, well, you could just start at level 100 and do all this other stuff, nobody really has fun doing renown, right? And so, like, why not just cut that out and let people just play the game without renown? Like, PoE doesn't have renown. PoE has other things that are semi-annoying, but not anywhere near as annoying as renown. And Diablo 3, I'm pretty sure didn't have renown either. So it's not like you need renown for any RPG to work or to function. But for some reason, Blizzard is dead set on not allowing you to remove it. And I think that if it continues in season two, I will probably classify it as one of those mining canary problems, that it is an indication of the entirety of the disconnect between Blizzard and the player base. That they value metrics such as time played, that you obviously farm a lot of whenever you convince a player that they have to farm renown, because it's effectively like, if you want to be good at the game, you want to have 20 extra Paragon points, obviously. So it's like 50 extra percent damage in some cases, especially if you can hit an extra yellow node.
I feel that.
The point is that, of course, obviously a lot of people are going to want to do that, and then you pump up those playtime numbers by artificially increasing the amount of time that they would interface with the game, by creating pointless hurdles for them to jump over. And I think that also, players are more than willing to go through, I think, some level of annoyance. And I think that in general, as a community, I don't think that we should really do that as much. And it's not about like, hey fellas, you're getting older, right? This isn't a fucking, erectile dysfunction ad. But the truth is that a lot of people don't want to invest, 20 extra. They don't want to have a minus 20 on the hours of their life just because a video game has a pointless hoop for you to jump through in order to inflate metrics for a shareholder report. And I think the truth is that if enough players say no, then the company will say yes, and they'll do what the players want. And that's just the beauty of a free market. And I really hope more people understand that, and I hope more people stop compromising with allowing their time to be wasted with useless mechanics.
And that's why I dropped Street Fighter 4. I literally quit the game because you guys nerfed my character.
What it is,
because you guys just wanted to do that.
The best types of problems like this are
this is so factual. I'll weigh my opinion after this video is done, though.
Simply, like, crafting time of something is increased by like a tremendous amount, and it's a single player game, something like that. Those types of things are very good indicators of where the developer's mind is at, and oftentimes it's not in the same place as the player. It's been an idea that I've thought about a lot recently, and I've been seeing it a lot more in games, and I've always kind of had like an idea of this, but I never really came up with a term for it. So I figured I'd make this video and talk about it with you guys, see kind of how other people have to think about it, what you guys think, examples of games that you've played, and am I the only one who's crazy here, or has has this been a thing for quite a while? And I think it's actually quite insightful whenever you kind of identify it as an idea and then look at things through that lens. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you guys and talk about it, have a little conversation, and anyway, be curious to hear other people's examples and see if it's as much of a common thing in other games as it is seemingly in Blizzard games. So that's about it. Thanks for watching. Peace.
But yeah, yo, freaking what I wanted to say was whatchamacallit. So basically, honestly, yo, that is a huge thing that I just realized until like just now, where it's like a lot of like developers, honestly, yo, they just do things on their own accord because they think it'll make them more profit or it'll benefit their games more. But they don't exactly interact with the player base to see if this is a good thing or a bad thing. Example, I shared my Street Fighter where they nerfed my character. They removed his hop because, like, first of all, he's bottom tier, bro. He was already bottom tier. How you nerf a character that's bottom tier and take out the one good thing that makes him good to make him even worse than bottom tier? So because of that, like, DJ players just started disappearing, as myself. And then they brought back in the nerf because, I guess, people voice their concerns, which is appreciated. But it's like, why did you guys do it anyways? Like, who told you to do that? Like, did you go and ask DJ players like, hey, what move should you remove? I think we should. These DJ players are not saying to remove that move. They're not. Like, when you ask them that, they'll be like, nah, bro, that's our one thing that makes us good. But you know what they probably did? They probably went to the DJ players like, oh, so can you tell me what move do you think is your best move on your character? Like, tell me what move. DJ player was like, yo, honestly, yo, my light Sobat kick is really good because it hops over trips and it shatters shields. You can't block it. And also, too, it's safe on block if you space it correctly, which is really good. It's like, all right, so that's what his strengths are. All right, so you see, little Billy over there, the 6-year-old kid, has been complaining about DJ for quite some time. Also, too, you guys already have a niece, so like, little Billy said that was the movie he hated, and you see, little Billy has been playing Street Fighter for like 2 days. So you see, I think his opinion weighs a lot more than actual Street Fighter players who play the game like religiously and use DJ, who's his main character. So all of your guys' opinions invalid. I want to listen to little Billy, little Tom, little Jimmy, and Philly. That's what these niggas were doing, bro. So it was bad, yo. Like, it was actually like really bad. Um, Another example. I can't really think of any other example. Um, Yeah, I don't really have any other example other than that, but like I know exactly what you mean because like generally though like a lot of games now like Fortnite's probably one of the bigger examples where like they're doing changes and stuff like that to appeal to like the metrics and so um but Fortnite is its own case. I like to look at Fortnite as this game that develops over time, constantly evolving. Because look at it today, it's really good. But either way, that's all for today. I just wanted to kind of check out this video, see like what's wrong with video games nowadays. And Asmondgold is correct. Like a lot of developers do things without even considering like the actual audience and the player base that's really you playing their game and stuff. They just want the cash. They just want the money. Hence why like they even like they do little like buying cosmetics all the time or like releasing like a unfinished game then dropping the finished game like years down the line. um they just want to like appeal to whatever metrics so they can get whatever audience and hopefully just like draw you in, suck you in with like updates and updates, changing stuff nonstop so you can just be sucked in. But in reality, that's not it, yo. But anywho, that's it for me. I have to go. So I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.